the level of activism and sustained interest that people have proven exists in climate, especially the young activists, have fundamentally transformed how all sorts of political candidates, celebrities, sports figures, everyone is talking about this issue now. And so people might be like, oh, like what has the movement really achieved? Well, I don't know. Biden just announced a major climate jobs corps, which is directly an
Yeah.
idea of the Sunrise Movement. We have the Inflation Reduction Act, which, while it doesn't solve anything, is in many ways a reflection of the Green New Deal. So many of these things can directly be linked back to activism on the ground. And so I do believe that the activism is making a fundamental impact and is radically transforming our society already.
I couldn't agree with you more, frankly. But one thing I'm a little bit worried about, I'm going to be honest. You mentioned this concept of like people often hate those revolutionaries, hate those people who are, pouring their lifeblood, their energy, their spirit into making these kinds of transformations to the system because people fear it. And what I worry about, and you also mentioned this, the importance of young activists in this fight and in this movement for change. And I think it isn't a generational thing. I think there's going to come a time when these issues are not even going to be issues anymore because the older generations who are preventing change are going to pass on. They're going to move on. And the next generations are coming up with that same energy that you've talked about. And it's a matter of time. And that also is a bit of fear in those folks who say, no, activism is not working. It's ineffective in trying to prevent that. But what I'm also worried about is the health and well-being of younger activists, that they have this burden placed upon them. And you see it everywhere. And it's this rise of young activism. And I've been with them the whole way. I've been working with and in some ways mentoring some, whether that's Shea Bastida, Alexandra Villaseñor, Jerome Foster, Isaias Hernandez, Christy Drutman, Clover, Hogan, you. And I can't forget Lily Platt from the Netherlands. She's an amazing young activist. Stood on the corner with her in Amsterdam. But what I worry about is that I have so much respect for that energy and work that goes into being on stage, on the streets, communicating these incredibly challenging issues and concepts that take their toll on me every day. I've been in the business for 15 years. I mean, I feel that every single day. To do that in a way to so many different audiences, that's so wide and diverse audiences, and to know that there's that hate, that dismissal that comes along with that, I really worry about the toll that it's taking on younger activists, about their development, their futures, how they can be taking care of themselves. And one of the things I really want to ask you, Saad, because having the time that I have known you, I find that you create that fabulousness, right? And like, I wonder, what are those tips that you have for young activists to be fabulous in what they do and how they take care of themselves? Because it's really important that this generation does that.
I mean, I started my work when I was like 12 or 13, and this is like way pre-climate movement. I've similarly been in this space for like 15 years at this point. And, at the time, there was no climate movement. There was no, in the way that it exists now, it wasn't a cultural thing. You couldn't be a climate activist. It wasn't a thing at that time. And one thing I'll say is, now with this rise of activism, I think amongst activists, there is so much support and community building. So like literally every single person that you just mentioned, I know them all. We'll like hang out sometimes. We'll like support each other's projects. We'll help each other in whatever ways that we can, because we know that we're all fighting the same fight. And so I think there is that sense of community. And that is really important in the space. It's to make sure you have a sense of community. It's also knowing that because you have that community, you don't have to be sprinting the whole time, right? Like it's a bit of a relay, and maybe you don't know exactly who you're passing the baton to, but if you need to take a time out and just sit on the bleachers, you need to know that there's somebody else running too. And so it is about going hard when you can go hard, and just sitting on the side and taking a break when you need to. Otherwise, you're just going to constantly deal with burnout. And the planet is already burning out. We don't need our activists to be experiencing that same phenomenon.